Okay, let's go through a few of these. So, number one, determine whether each series is geometric. Explain your answers. So, geometric really means is there an R value? So, a ratio, right? So can you go 24 divided by 4? That's 6. 144 divided by 24. So, yeah, 144 divided by 24, that's also 6. Um, what about B? Well, B, if I go 20 divided by negative 40, that gives me negative a half. And I get the same thing if I go 10, negative 10 divided by 20, negative a half. I go 5 divided by negative 10, get negative a half. So it works all the way up there. What about C? Well, 9 divided by 3, that gives me 3. 18 divided by 9, that's only 2. So you don't have the same ratio all the way up. So this is not a geometric series. I'll let you guys do D. Okay, so for number 2, um, figure out what your R is. So 9 divided by 6, 13 divided by 9 should be the same R value. And you know T1 is going to be 6. And then all we need to do is put in 10 in place of N. And then just plug it into your formula and see what you get. So I'll let you guys do those as well. So for number 3, it's really the same thing, but when it says express your answer as exact values in fraction form, just make sure you go into menu in your calculator. Well, here, maybe I'll show you. So just pretend you had something that was like a decimal sitting there. You'd go menu, number, and then approximate to fraction. So that's probably the easiest way to do it there. All right, number 4. Okay, looking at 4 here for A, we really need to figure out which of the two formulas that we need to use that we were talking about in lesson 32. So where was that? Up here. Like, which of these two are we going to use? That one or that one? So remember the one on the left here. We're going to use that one if we don't know Tn, if we don't know what that final number in the series is. We're going to use this one if we don't know what n is. So if we go back, wrong one. This one, A, well, we've got T1, you can figure out R easy enough. We don't know N, right? N's the one we don't know. And we do know Tn. This is Tn. So which one are we going to use? We are going to use the second one over here now this time. We're going to use that one because we don't know what N is. So same thing now, we just plug everything in the way you would. So R times Tn minus T1 over R minus 1. Just make sure it goes into your calculator properly. Okay, same with this one. It'll be the similar thing. Now I'm looking at this, and we got the same thing. So you're just using that formula. But actually, I guess you only had to do A and C was the only ones I asked you to do on that one. And 3 was only A and C as well. So, okay. Okay, number 5. Now we're looking for the first term, so T1. We got to figure out which formula to use for A and B, though. So for A, we know Tn. Doesn't look like we know N, right? Don't know N. So which formula would you use? So looking at this, which one doesn't know N? Well, that's this one. So that's the formula we're going to start off with. Okay, so we've got this formula is what we're using. Oh, and by the way, too, maybe I didn't explain this when it says R cannot be equal to 1. Why can R not be equal to 1? Well, if R was 1, that would make you'd be dividing over 0, right? 1 minus 1 would be 0. So that's why R can't be equal to 1. Okay, moving on from that, though. So now we're just solving for T1. So let's put in the numbers that we know. So we know SN is 33. We know R is negative 2. We know Tn is 48. Ti we don't know. And R was negative 2 minus 1. All right, so let's just kind of simplify things a little bit here. So we're going to have 33 is equal to negative 2 times 48. I have negative 96 minus T1 all over negative 3. All right, so now it's going to be just a little bit of algebra. So let's get rid of this 3 first. I'm going to multiply both sides by a negative 3. So This side's also being multiplied by -3. So we're going to have negative 99 is equal to negative 96 minus T1. All right, now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring this T1 over to the left side just to make it positive. So I'm going to have T1, and I'm going to bring this 99. I'm going to add 99 to both sides. So bring this 99 over there. So we're going to have 3. 96, or negative 96 plus 99. Okay, and for B, you're going to have to use the other formula because this time we don't know Tn, right? In the question they give you N. We don't know Tn, so we have to rearrange the other one. So I'll let you guys rearrange that formula for T1. Okay, so for 9, it says a fan-out system is used to contact a large group of people. The person in charge of the contact committee relays the information to 4 people. Each of these 4 people notifies 4 more people, who in turn each notify 4 more people, and so on. So write the corresponding series for the number of people contacted. So let's write down what we know first. So it says the person in charge of the contact committee relays the information to 4 people. So he or she is just one person, right? So we can say T1 is going to be equal to 1, right? And then it's going up by multiples of 4. So R is going to be 4. Okay, so now that we know that, let's just fill in what we know. So let's write this as Sn is going to be T1 we said was 1. R was 4, so 4 to the n minus 1. All over, now 4 minus 1 is 3. So yeah, that's really just it. So this would be the general term. The other way of writing it here now, though, just as the actual, whoop, that was weird, as the series, is you could just write 1 comma 4, oh, not commas, adding, 1 plus 4 plus 16 plus 64, and so on, right? Plus dot dot dot. Okay, so that's the general idea there, right? So now, how many people are notified after 10 levels of this system? So we've made our general term up here. Let's just use that. So we're going to have S10 is equal to 4 to the 10 minus 1 all over 3. So we're going to have S10 is this number. Okay, number 10. Here's my picture that I drew. So it bounces 40% as high every time, right? So now the question says, what's the total vertical distance the ball has traveled when it hits the floor for the 6th time? So this would be where it hits the ground like once, twice, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 right there, right? So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to call this T1. This is T2, T3, T4, and then T5. So it's similar to that picture frame question, or the picture when we printed off and it was a certain percentage as much every time. So that's what we're going to do. So let's first figure out what T1 is going to be. So T1 is going to be equal to 40% of 20. So just to be careful here, what we're doing though, when I go 40% of 20, what I'm finding is the height from there to there. And kind of what I'm thinking is that at the end of this, I'm going to add up my height of this one, my height of that one, that one, that one, and that one, right? I'm going to add all those up, and then I'm going to multiply by 2 because it goes up and then goes back down again. So I'm going to multiply by 2, and then I'm going to add just that 20 at the end of it. That's kind of the approach that I'm taking towards this. So just so you kind of see what I'm doing. There are different ways of doing this though too. So I'm just going to do it this way to stay consistent. So we're going to go 40% of 20. So T1, the first one, is going to bounce 8 meters. Okay, so 8 meters for T1. I know that R is going to be 0.4. 0.40 if you like. And I also know that N is going to be not 6 but 5 because we said the first bounce was T1 right there, right? So we're going to call this 5. So now Sn is equal to okay, so let's fill out what we know here. So Sn is going to be, so T1 was 8. R was 0.4. N was 5. Minus 1. All over 0.4 minus 1. And this was for S5, I should have said. So S5. Okay, so we got 13 point, let's go 17, or 13.20. Okay, so that's all those heights added together. So now what I'm going to do, because it goes up and down, I'm going to multiply that by 2. So times 2. So we're going to say, maybe I'll just put that down here. And let's write sum up and down. 13.20 times 2. Get 26.39. And then lastly, I'm just going to add 20 meters for that first part. So plus 20 meters. So we get 46.4. Okay, so there was a few ways that you could have done this two ways. So that was just one of them. The other thing I guess you could have done was to say when I figured out my T1 here, I could have figured out what 40% of 40 was, right? Because I could have said what, because it's going to be 40% up and down, that path up and then back down again. So that would have worked. And there are probably a few ways that you could have actually handled that one. So I'm going to leave that at that. Okay, so I'm going to end that video.